The luxury car dealership sparkled like a monument to exclusivity, all gleaming glass walls and marble floors in the heart of downtown Chicago. Morning light danced across its polished surfaces, casting reflections over chrome, leather, and espresso machines hissing in the corners. The name etched into the glass Remington Auto House was enough to make any car enthusiast pause in reverence. Inside, quiet conversations buzzed like static under the low hum of ambient jazz. A couple in designer sunglasses examined the sleek, obsidian Aurelio Serif Jeet price tag strategically tilted away from the eye. It read $3 million, but everyone there already knew that. No one noticed the two teenage boys who rolled up on bikes worn from city summers. Their tires squeaked faintly as they stopped just outside the glass door. Marcel Owens, 17, tall and still growing into his frame, held the door open for his younger brother, Zayden, 15, whose wide-eyed awe lit up his whole face. They stepped into a different world, one of muted voices, polished shoes, and price tags that dared to whisper a life far removed from theirs. They wore plain white t-shirts, cargo shorts, and sneakers that had seen too many sidewalks. No brands, no watches, just pure, unfiltered curiosity. As they stepped closer to the Serif GT, heads turned not in welcome, but in the kind of quiet, condescending curiosity that hums under the surface in places where wealth speaks loudest. Still, Marcel pointed at the car, eyes gleaming. "That's the one I showed you," he murmured. Zayden nodded, entranced. They approached slowly, reverently. They didn't touch, just looked, like someone might look at a painting in a museum close enough to memorize the details, but never daring to disturb its space. Then came the voice. "You boys lost." It was cool, clipped, and soaked in superiority. The man who addressed them stood with arms folded, navy suit tailored to perfection, silver cufflinks glinting in the light. His name was Griffin Markstop, seller at Remington for 5 years, and clearly proud of it. Marcel turned toward him. "No, sir. We were just admiring this model. Does it really go from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds? Griffin's eyes dropped to Marcel's sneakers, then his shorts, then the faint wrinkles in his shirt. His smirk was a brand of its own. "You know this car starts at $3 million, right?" he said, each word pronounced slowly, as if it were a language the boys wouldn't understand. Zayden's smile faltered. He stared at his shoes, suddenly hyper-aware of every scuff. Griffin didn't stop. "Maybe check out something in the, lower range. We don't usually do tours for spectators." That last word dropped heavy and hard. Around them, no one said anything, but a nearby couple exchanged glances. The man gave a quiet laugh. The woman offered a pitying half-smile. The kind people use when they're glad you're not their problem. Marcel cleared his throat. "We weren't trying to waste anyone's time." Griffin gave a snort of fake amusement. "I'm sure you weren't. But let's not waste yours either." And just like that, the spell was broken. The boys turned and made their way to the door, footsteps barely audible on the pristine floor. As they stepped outside, the hiss of the automatic doors sounded less like convenience and more like dismissal. They were halfway down the steps when a voice called out, "Wait!" They turned. A woman in black slacks and a cream blouse approached from behind a desk. Her name tag read Celeste Romero. Her tone was calm, not condescending. "Do you have a minute?" The brothers exchanged glances. Marcel hesitated, then nodded. They walked their bikes back and stepped inside. "I heard you asking about the Serif GT," she said, with something startlingly rare in a place like that sincerity. "It's an incredible car. Want to see something cool?" She showed them the specs, answered their questions, opened the doors to the car, and even offered to let them sit inside. "Seriously?" Zayden asked, half afraid it was a trick. "Seriously," she smiled. They sat inside like pilgrims at an altarno, jumping, no selfies, no loud remarks, just quiet reverence. When they stepped out, Celeste handed Marcel her card. "You ever want to learn more, call me. You're always welcome here." He took it like it was made of platinum. They left with their heads higher than before. Inside, Griffin snorted. "Wasting her time," he muttered to a colleague. Celeste heard it. She didn't care, because there was something about those boys, their questions, their composure, the way they didn't shrink when dismissed, that lingered in her mind long after they left. They pedaled home in silence, wind rushing past but failing to clear the heavy weight pressing down on their shoulders. Their street, lined with manicured lawns and silent electric cars, didn't comfort them. The gate to their home opened without a sound, triggered by the chip in Marcel's key fob. The mansion beyond was minimalist and grand glass, wood and steel, warmed by curated art and silence. They entered quietly, passing the grand piano in the study silent now, but once filled with life. Their father sat at it, not playing, just thinking. Dr. Elias Owens, 47, a man who didn't command rooms with noise, but with stillness. He didn't look up. Back already? He asked. Yeah, Zayden said. We didn't stay long. Elias turned, his eyes meeting theirs. Everything all right? Marcel hesitated. The easy answer sat on his tongue, but something in his father's steady gaze pulled out the truth. Not really, he admitted. Elias gestured to the chairs near the fireplace. Sit. They did. And then, slowly, the story unfolded. They told him everything: how they were treated, how they were dismissed, how they were seen. Marcel's voice cracked once. Zayden stared at the floor. Elias said nothing at first, just listened. Did she know who you were? He finally asked. No, Marcel said. We didn't say our last name. Elias walked to the tall window, clasped his hands behind his back. People confuse appearance with value, he said. That says more about them than it ever will about you. Then he turned to them. You did nothing wrong. You didn't act out. You told me the truth. That's all I ask. As they stood to leave, Marcel asked softly, You're not mad? Elias raised an eyebrow. At who? The salesman. The people who laughed. He picked up his untouched glass and looked at the amber liquid inside. I don't waste energy being angry at people who show me who they are. I just remember. And when the time is right, I act. That night, the house quiet, Elias sat alone in his study. He didn't fume. He didn't brood. He made a call. Garrison, he said when the line connected. I need both Seraph units serial 9 and 11 detailed, coded, and delivered to Remington Auto House. Full spec. Tomorrow morning. 8:45 sharp. No earlier. No later. Understood, came the reply. Engines silent. Doors closed. I'll arrive on foot. No logos? Elias smiled faintly. Let silence speak. The next morning, Chicago gleamed under golden sunlight. And at exactly 8:45 a.m., two Seraph Hypercarson midnight black, the other a brilliant sapphire with gold accents, glided to a stop in front of Remington Auto House. No engines revved. No music blared. They simply arrived. Inside, jaws dropped. Phones came out. Whispers hissed. Then, the back door of the Sapphire Seraph opened. Marcel stepped out first, wearing the same t-shirt and shorts. Zayden followed. Their clothes hadn't changed, but they had. Then Elias emerged. His suit was charcoal gray. His shoes mirror-polished. He walked like a man with nothing to prove and nothing to fear. Griffin was mid-conversation when he looked up and saw them. His voice died. His face drained of color. The doors parted with the same hiss that had shooed the boys away, but this time it sounded like a spotlight. Inside, the room froze. I'd like to speak to the staff member who assisted my sons yesterday, Elias said to the receptionist. Before she could move, Griffin jumped in. Sir, that was May helped. Elias didn't even turn fully. No, you weren't the one. He turned instead to the manager, a man behind the glass office. You archive your security footage? The manager nodded. Yes, sir. Then review it. We'll wait. The minutes that passed stretched like hours. Then the manager returned, pale. The woman who assisted your sons was Ms. Celeste Romero, he said. This man, he gestured toward Griffin without saying his name, acted inappropriately and with clear discrimination. Elias said nothing. His silence was louder than any outburst. Then he spoke, and the whole room leaned in. You judged my sons based on their shoes, their shirts, their skin. You didn't ask questions. You didn't help. You laughed. Griffin couldn't speak. His mouth moved, but no words came. You didn't fail as a salesman, Elias continued. You failed as a human being. The manager cleared his throat. Effective immediately, Griffin Marks is terminated. Security will escort him out. No protest. No pleas. As Griffin passed the boys, he couldn't meet their eyes. Then Elias turned to the manager. Now bring me Ms. Romero. She walked in stunned. Is everything okay? she asked. Elias offered a soft smile. More than okay. You treated my sons with dignity when no one else did. That matters. She blinked. They were respectful. It was no trouble. Elias nodded. They like that car. It's over 3 million, sir. Make it 3-1, he said, pulling out a silver pen. And make sure you get the full commission. He signed on the same counter his sons had once been dismissed from. Then he handed the keys to Marcel and Zayden. Happy early birthday. Outside, they stepped into the car like they belonged, which they always had. Inside, Celeste returned to her desk. Hours later, she found a sealed envelope. Inside, a promotion. Senior sales consultant. Effective immediately. She didn't cry. She stood tall and walked the showroom with quiet power. Because kindness never goes out of style. And real respect isn't just heard. It's felt.